Prayer in the field of silence. When harnessing emotions becomes the path to positive transformation. In the quiet where the world fades and the field begins, emotions cease to be burdens and become guides. Here, in the spaciousness between thoughts, there lies a hidden language, the one the heart speaks in frequencies too subtle for words, yet powerful enough to sculpt entire realities. In this field of silence, emotions are not accidents, nor enemies, but instruments waiting to be tuned. And when tuned with awareness, they unlock the sacred alchemy of change. There is a whisper beneath the surface of every reaction, a story hidden in every ache. Most do not listen. They recoil, suppress, or explode, believing emotions to be evidence of weakness or a threat to stability. But the field teaches otherwise. It offers a knowing older than time, that emotion is energy in motion, and motion is the signature of transformation. The beginning is always awareness. To feel without fleeing. To sit with a reaction, not to feed it but to see it. What does anger mask? What wound does sadness reveal? What survival pattern does fear replay? The field does not condemn, it invites presence. And in presence, the old loops begin to unravel. For when we witness ourselves clearly without judgment, we untether from the stories that shaped us. We interrupt the agreement to suffer unconsciously. In this silence, a deeper choice emerges. Not the choice to feel or not feel, but to respond rather than react. Reaction is the echo of the past, a habit carved into the nervous system, firing before the conscious mind arrives. But response is presence. Response is the moment we interrupt the ancestral rhythm and choose a new cadence. It is the split second when we breathe instead of explode, when we soften instead of retreat. And in that space, a new self is born, not in theory but in physiology. The field honors this biology. It teaches that our emotional past is not fixed in stone but written in the soft clay of the nervous system, subject to the warmth of new intention. Each time we choose a different emotional pattern, we carve a new groove in the brain, a new rhythm in the heart, a new signature in our electromagnetic field. Change, then, is not just a concept. It is measurable, visible, tangible. It is biology bending to belief. The tools are ancient, yet reborn in modern form. Stillness, breath, awareness, coherence, the deliberate slowing down of thought. The sacred practice of dropping out of the storm of beta waves and into the rhythmic calm of alpha, theta, and beyond. These are not spiritual luxuries, they are evolutionary necessities. They are the spaces where emotion unhooks from survival and anchors in creation. And when practiced with devotion, they become the bridge from memory to miracle. To cultivate elevated emotions is not to deny pain, it is to transmute it. Gratitude becomes the balm. Joy becomes the compass. Love becomes the architecture of the new identity. These are not fleeting states, but rehearsed signatures of a future self. The more one bathes in the feeling of what is yet unseen, the more real it becomes. The body begins to believe. The cells begin to change. Chemistry shifts. Synapses rewire. The future becomes less an aspiration and more a memory remembered in advance. It is not wishful thinking. It is coherent embodiment. To feel gratitude not for what has happened, but for what will, to walk in the resonance of healing before the body confirms it, to love before the relationship has arrived, to embody abundance before the bank balance shifts. This is not delusion, it is design. It is aligning the inner world so precisely with the desired external that the field cannot help but respond in kind. For the quantum field, ever listening, ever reflecting, does not respond to what we say or hope. It responds to who we are, now. This is the sacred rehearsal, not just of thoughts but of feelings. To wake up each day and choose the emotional frequency of the life you are becoming. Not because it is easy but because it is true. To live from the memory of the future rather than the residue of the past. This is the essence of transformation, not waiting for the world to change before feeling different, but feeling different so the world must change. The body must be convinced, and repetition is the key. The daily choice to return, to rehearse, to remember. To interrupt the surge of anxiety with breath. To replace the looping fear with wonder. To soothe the contraction of shame with compassion. Again and again, like sculpting marble into form. Slowly the nervous system recalibrates. The immune system uplifts. The heart rate variability increases. The body, no longer trapped in survival, begins to thrive. Yet this path is not meant to be walked alone. The field reminds us, transformation is amplified in community. When two or more gather in coherence, resonance multiplies. The lone spark becomes wildfire. A shared field of elevated emotion creates a collective momentum that transcends the individual. In such spaces, healing accelerates, belief becomes contagious, miracles normalize. The presence of others walking the path becomes medicine itself. Because people change people, not by advice but by frequency. So we gather. In rooms, in breath, in silence. We sit beside those who hold the same longing, to become more whole, more alive, more true. We listen not only to the words but to the vibrations. We match each other's coherence. We weep not from pain but from release. We anchor each other in the possibility of the unseen. And together, we remember that we were never meant to carry our evolution alone. The field is generous but not passive. It does not give according to desire, it gives according to frequency. To ask is not enough. One must become the answer. And that becoming is emotional. It is vibrational. It is a choice made not once but every day. In thought, in feeling, in action. The emotion you rehearse is the reality you attract. So in this prayer, let us rehearse the elevated. Let us rise into gratitude not as a reaction to having, but as a cause for receiving. Let us embody joy as a compass, not a reward. Let us allow love to be the baseline from which all creation begins. Not love for something. Not love because of something. But love as a state. Love as the frequency of truth. Let us breathe through the old emotions not to banish them but to free them. To thank them for what they taught and to release their grip. Let us feel the future, not as fantasy but as frequency. Let us become so familiar with our desired emotions that the past no longer fits, and the new becomes inevitable. So here in this field of silence we choose to no longer be ruled by the unconscious echoes of yesterday, to no longer rehearse pain as identity, to no longer outsource power to circumstance, but to step forward, emotionally, vibrationally, biologically, as the future self we are ready to inhabit. And as we do, the field responds, not with judgment but with reflection, not with delay but with resonance, not with punishment but with possibility. So breathe deeply, feel fully, rehearse with care, choose with presence, and become the version of yourself you are meant to be.